Hello students, in this video we are going to study about temperature and salinity in Indian Ocean. So this particular video belongs to your chapter Indian Ocean and its strategic importance and relief. So it's lesson number 7 for 11th standard science and arts students. So first of all, why are we studying the temperature and salinity in Indian Ocean? Now we know that Indian Ocean consists of so many resources and we are just exploiting that resource. One of the most important resource which we are exploiting is the salt. So to understand the salinity of the water and to extract the salt from it, it's very necessary for us to understand what is the proportion of salinity. Now there is also a difference in the temperature. So the temperature is going to vary from the depth or at the surface. So there is always a difference in the temperature which we see in the Indian Ocean. So that we are going to study here. So distribution of temperature and salinity in Indian Ocean. The study of temperature of ocean is very much essential. Why? Because it influences the biotic components of the ocean. What is the temperature? What is the salinity? On that basis, you can understand the plants which are cultivated there, like photosynthesis activity which is done over there. You cannot say the cultivation, but the photosynthesis activity which has been taken place, because of that planktons are created. And you can see large amount of fish and microorganisms, they thrive on those planktons. So it is also largely responsible for the movement in the oceanic water. Other factors besides the temperature is the salinity. The density of the ocean water depends only on the two factors, that is the temperature of the water and salinity of your water. So the density is going to depend on temperature and salinity of your particular water. The density and temperature difference causes the movement in the seawater. So whenever there is a difference in the density and the temperature, then you can see that there is a movement in the seawater. Okay. So the movement can be fast, it can be slow. On the base of that, the tides are created. So during the pre-monsoon season, when the summer solstice is approaching, the temperature generally increase high and much higher in the southern portion and closer to the equator. And once the southwest monsoon sets in, the temperature pattern gets altered with the lowering of temperature in the Arabian Sea area, which comes under the influence of monsoonal winds. So by the season of northeast monsoon, when the winter solstice approaches, the temperature it gets reduced and the northern part of Bay of Bengal gets recorded the temperature in order to be as 24 degrees of Celsius. So basically, because of summer solstice, there is a high in the temperature. You can see the temperature is increasing. It is increasing very much higher as it is closer to our equator. Now what is summer solstice? Summer solstice means what? One of the Earth's pole. It is one of the Earth's pole which is maximum tilt towards the sun. So whenever your Earth's axis, it is tilted towards the sun in maximum amount, then we call it as summer solstice. So when does it occurs? It occurs twice in a year. Okay. So each hemisphere it occurs, means once it will occur in south hemisphere, then it will occur on the northern hemisphere. So like that it occurs twice in a year. So this is about the distribution of temperature and salinity. Now we'll see the Indian Ocean salinity. How do we calculate the salinity that we are going to study? So the other characteristic of Indian water, oceanic water, is salinity. So salinity is measured of amounts of salt. So how is salinity measured? The amount of salt which is present inside your sea, which is present inside your ocean or water. By that you can say or you can count the salinity of sea. So it is basically expressed as parts per thousand. So this is the denotation of symbol, how you denote it, and it is called as parts per thousand. So average the average salinity which you observe in the sea water is 35 parts per thousand. So you call it as 35 parts per thousand. The salinity is generally high around the Somali Peninsula and closer to Saudi Arabian coast. So where is the salinity high? It is basically high around the Somali Peninsula. And these are the regions having high temperature and low rainfall. Not many rivers enter into the sea in this area. Suppose if the temperature is very high, means the heat is more, then definitely the rainfall is going to be less. So in such area, because of large amount of evaporation of the water by the sun, what happens? The content of the salt is high and the content of the water is less. So it becomes more concentrated because of salt. So Somali is a place where you can see the salinity is very high. And another factor is that if there is no river which is going to be joined to that particular sea, then at that moment also the salinity is high. Why? Because the water from the river, the water which a river brings along with it, it is never salty. It is always a potable water. You can drink it. Okay. So opposite to it is Bay of Bengal. Now Bay of Bengal has huge discharge from Ganga system and also forms the peninsular river, lead to the lowering of salinity in this area. The salinity is less during the period of southwest monsoon. So basically in the case of Bay of Bengal, what happens? So many rivers are coming and joining at that place. Okay, so here you can see that here the Bay of Bengal. So here you can see so many rivers, they come and they meet, and certainly what happens, because as the river is bringing fresh water and potable water and it is mixing in it, so because of that the salinity over here is very much less. And opposite to it is Somali, which is in Arabian Sea coast. So here you can see the salinity is very much high as compared to your Bay of Bengal. So here it is denoted as 32 parts per thousand. Okay, or 30 parts per thousand. You can see here in Bay of Bengal. Whereas in India, in Arabian Sea, you can see it's 38 part per thousand. And average salinity should be 35 parts per thousand. So it is more than an average in Somali Peninsula. So we'll see about ocean currents in Indian Ocean. The pattern of currents in Indian Ocean differ considerably from those in the Pacific and Atlantic Ocean. So each and every ocean has its own pattern. You cannot say that the pattern which Pacific Ocean has or the pattern which Atlantic Ocean has, the same will be followed with Indian Ocean. No. The effect of monsoon wind system is clearly seen on the currents in the northern Indian Ocean. So in the previous video, we have already studied that at the northern side, there is a blockage to the Indian Ocean. So because of that, the monsoon type of climate is seen in India. So because of the monsoon wind, you can see there is a difference in the currents at northern Indian Ocean. Ocean currents are bodies of oceanic water maintaining their separate entity. They flow across oceans under the influence of specific wind system. They perform the function of mixing of water and transfer heat from one part of ocean to another part of ocean. So mainly there is a mixing of water, means the high heated water is mixed with low heated water. So this is how the mixing of water takes place, and because of that the currents varies and the currents are generated. Ocean currents are classified as warm or cold currents depending on the temperature condition of the flowing water. So whether your water is warm, whether your water is cold, so depending on that you can differ the oceanic currents. Now, system of ocean currents in the Indian Ocean is highly influenced by the shape of its coastal line, its extent and peculiar arrangement of the wind system that prevails in the region. It has an equatorial current, but north equatorial current is weaker than the south equatorial current. Now, basically, whatever currents are created inside the ocean, they are influenced by what? They are influenced सबसे पहले they are influenced by shape. How is the shape of your coastal line? Okay, then the area of extent. What is the extent? How much area is covered by that particular continent or the coastal line? What is the arrangement of that particular land system? And after that we can see the wind system. How is the wind? Okay, whether it is towards the north, towards the south. So based on all these things, the ocean currents are going to vary. The next point is, if you take in the case of equatorial current, the north equatorial currents are less weak. Okay, they are weaker, and the south equatorial currents are more powerful than your north equatorial current. North of equator, the currents are influenced by seasonally reversing monsoon winds, and the current systems in the southern part of the Indian Ocean leads to the development of large gyres. So why the northern equatorial currents are weak? Because they are facing the reverse monsoon winds. Because of that, these winds are less powerful. And the Indian Ocean, in the southern part, what happens? The large gyres are created. Gyres means what? It is a spiral movement of ocean currents. Okay, when it starts moving in a circular manner. So these types of circular manners are called as gyres. They are basically created because of different wind patterns and because of Earth's rotation. Okay. Now there are two major arms of these gyres. First is south equatorial current flowing east to west direction under the influence of easterlies, and the west wind drift flowing from west to east under the influence of westerlies. So this is the two ways how the gyres are classified. It is very simple to remember. If you take east to west, we will call it as easterlies, and from west to east you will call it as westerlies. Okay, and west wind drift will be the name of the gyre. The circulation is completed in the west by Mozambique Alagoas currents, in the east by West Australian current, and it is considered to be one of the major gyres on the global scale. In the northern proportion of the Indian Ocean, seasonal monsoonal winds drive the currents, and mostly these currents follow along the coastline during the summer, and they follow clockwise direction during the winter, and that direction shows a complete reversal, and they flow in the anti-clockwise direction. So basically you can see that they flow in the clockwise direction in summer and anti-clockwise in winter. So this is how there is a change in the and the fluctuation which you see in the ocean currents. So this is all about the ocean currents as well as the salinity. We have studied how to calculate the salinity also and how it is measured. Okay, so you can see the ocean currents, and it is basically influencing the density of the water. So this is all about the salinity and the ocean currents of Indian Ocean. So thank you for watching. Do subscribe the channel. For more updates, you can watch the other videos, and please give a comment in the comment section. Thank you.